Welcome back. It's good to see you again. When we last left, we done some great things with the animation, Sprite. We had some sound. We had the little fella punching. Let's see if we can pull that up again. Boom. Love it. I love it, love it. All right, but what we want to do is I'm gonna switch this to walk, and I'm gonna just indicate something here. Right now he's facing to the right. Well, what would happen if we want to face him to the left? We certainly don't want to have sprites that have to be rotated like that. I mean, this is modern day computers, right? We shouldn't have any problems. So what we want to do is we want to make a couple of functions that will let us flip the sprite horizontally and vertically. So I'll tell you how we're going to do that. We're going to have a couple of, actually we're going to have a vector2, and we're going to call it flip, and we're going to set those both to 1. So flip x will be the horizontal, flip y will be the vertical. And the way we're going to do the flip is we're just going to negate whatever the scale is down here, like so. Dot x, like that. And so right now, if we run it, nothing has happened. Now what we need to do, we need to create those flip functions. I'm going to do that right down here. Function sprite, and we'll call it flip h, and it'll take a boolean called flip. So what we'll do is we'll say if flip, then, and we'll set the self.flip.x equal to -1. Otherwise, self.flip.x equals 1. You see what I'm doing there? So when we come in here and we say flip the horizontal, do it true, then it sets this to -1. And then down here where we're doing the scale, it multiplies the scale by a -1, and it basically inverts it, and that will flip the sprite. So that's what we're going to do that way. And we can also come up here and use our nice copy-paste inheritance, and we can make a function to flip the vertical as well, of article. Okay, so I think that should work. Let's add another key press, a couple of key presses in here, so that we can see if this works. So we'll say else if key equals a, then sprite flip h true, and we'll say, oh, we don't have to say and, we'll say, and then we'll say if it's d, then we'll do this, and we'll say false. We don't want to flip it anymore. So let's see what happens when we run this. There he is, and if I hit A, he is gone the other way, and he even punches. He punches the right way too. He's flipped. Then if I flip him back this way, it's all good. So that's working beautifully. Let's go ahead and just verify that the vertical flip also works. So I'm going to change these to vertical flip, and I'm going to use W, and we'll use S for that. Rerun, ladies and gentlemen. So if I do W, he flips, and if I do S, he unflips. Beautiful. So can we flip him both ways? We certainly can. And he can punch, and he can be standing on the ceiling. Oh, it makes me so giddy. I love it. Okay. Now, one other thing that I want to do. So that makes me feel good. We can flip the sprite vertically and horizontally, and we'll need that whenever we go and we use our sprite sheet in our animations and such. And that'll be nice. But right now, our animation is set up such that we give it an upper left-hand corner of basically kind of a rectangular region that we want to pull frames out of. So upper left-hand corner, and in our case, like for the rain animation, it's like around in here somewhere. And then what we do is we say, okay, I'm going to tell you how wide and how tall these frames are. So how wide and how tall they are. And then I'm going to tell you the number of frames that I want you to play. And then I'm going to tell you the size of the columns. So you can say, okay, the size of the columns here is 6. So then if you said, I want you to play 7 frames, it'll go all the way here. And then it will come down here and grab this one before restarting here. But if you said the number of columns was 4, and you had 6 frames, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it would come down here 5, 6. So you can specify an area within that rectangular region, you basically with the frame number, so that you can uniquely identify those little frames, those rectangular regions within the larger one. But I want to be able to specify, instead of, we have, see the number of frames here, which is just it just goes linearly from the start to the end. I want to specify, I want to be able to say, okay, I want to go here, frame 1, frame 2, and then I may want to go back to frame 1 and then go to frame 3. You see what I'm saying? I want to be able to control the order in which those frames are occurring, such that if I want to say, start up here and I want to say, okay, here's the upper left hand corner, this is frame 1. Start frame 1, then go frame 2 would be, well actually this wouldn't be frame 2, would it? If we have a 6, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So frame 1, frame 7, and then maybe frame 8, frame 9, frame 10, something like that. Right now we can't do that, but I want to be able to do that. So what we'll do is I want to be able to specify either a table or a number there. So if it's a table, it's going to be an index into that rectangular region that we have specified. And this is the walk animation. And so for now, we're going to just do what we did before, which is this is basically saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the frame offsets, the index into that rectangular region. So it's going to be the same as this. But so we're going to get this working, and then we will come in here and we'll change some things around so that it's not playing just one frame after the other like that. So what I want to do is, instead of num frames here, I want to change this so that it is more descriptive. So I'm just going to change this to frames. Okay, this is now going to be a table. All right, it's going to either be a table or it will be a number, specifying just a number of frames from 1 to that number. But self.frames will always be a table. So what we'll do is we'll say if the type of frames equals table, then self.frames equals frames. So we're just saying, okay, we'll take that table. But if it's not, then we want to make a table self.frames, and we want to say we'll say I equals 1 to the frames, which in this case it's going to be a number, so it's just going to be, we're going to be specifying just the number of frames to play from the left to the right, including just all of them, right, from one to the next, incrementing by 1 each time. So we're going to build our own little table from that. So self.frames.I is equal to I, and with that 6, if we were to just put 6 in here, which let's just do that for now, 6. So that's going to be the same as before, but instead it's going to come in here and create this table with our indices in there. Now, this is no longer the number or a frame index, but it is instead a table. So we're going to have to change a few things. One of which, since we no longer will be requiring the user of our module to start at frame 1, this is going to have to change. So, and you see that, right? Because we could start on frame 2 or frame 3, and this will not be correct if we just set it at the start offset, which would be the upper left-hand corner of where our little rectangular region is. So we're going to have to change that. But now, let's go down here to update. And so this basically we want to know if the number of elements in this now table is less than or equal to 1, then we just have one frame and we don't need to do any of this counting or animation or anything like that. So that's what we're doing there. So anywhere we see this self.frames right here, it's going to be the number of elements in that table, because this is now going to be the index into that table. So let's make that variable right there. Let's see, can I do that without screwing up the... I want to take that, turn that on, self.frame, and that's the wrong one. I want to do, and it's not G, I think, is it H? Yes, it's H. I want to replace self.frame, right? Self.frame. I want that to be self. Since this is an animation, I'm going to just call it index. So it's just going to be the index into that table. So I've just replaced all of those. So now it's self.index. So that's actually the index into our frame table now. Okay. Now, here, if we loop, we reset it to 1, the first frame, or the first index into our table. Otherwise, we want to set the index to that last element in the frame, right? And then this is the place where we're going to have some interesting things happen. Okay, we want, instead of this, we'll cut that. And we want self.frames of self.index. You got it? But we also want to subtract 1 from that frame from that actual frame location, so that our column size works out correctly. And then we want to do the same thing down here, like so, I believe. Now let's see if that works. Yeah, buddy. Okay, well, we've got this, so now let's check and see if this works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be the same as we had just a moment ago. Looks good to me, man. So now let's make him run forward and then go backwards. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then he'll go back to 1, and he'll just keep like that. Let's slow it down too, so we can check it. Okay, start here, 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 here. Yep, yep. So then he should come here. Oh, that's beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's try one more thing. I'll make him go a little faster. Let's make sure that our Y offset is working correctly. So he should come here at the end of this. Yes, and he does, and he goes right back to where he's supposed to be. Fantastic. So now we can specify a rectangular region of some sort with the upper left-hand corner. We can specify the length or the size of that rectangular region in frames. See what you understand what I'm saying? In frames. So the number of columns, and then we can go and pick any square within that region that we want in any order. So that's going to be really, really, really handy. All right. And let's see. I think, oh, yes. That's the other thing. That worked, but that's because we're starting from this one. What if we wanted to start from, let me put that back. What if we wanted to start from 2? What would happen? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Not initially. The first time it won't work. So because we want to start, so watch. It won't start at 2 the first time. See? It started here. Because we need this. We need to take this now. Remember, our offset.x and y is now not going to be necessarily at the start anymore, because our frame number can be different. Can be different than 1 now, because we're more flexible. So now if we basically calculate it here, then we should be able to load, and we should see the correct frame, unless I'm lying to you, which is very possible. Let's make sure that he's on. Oh yeah, see? Okay, so it should start here, and he does. Okay, phenomenal. And all of those other wonderful superlatives that we love to use in everyday life. Let's bump him back up to, what was it, 12? Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, so we've got some much better flexibility here, and I really think that that's going to be way better. Plus, you know, we can still have him punch, and we can have him punch to the left, punch to the right. We can even have him stand on the ceiling and punch to the left or punch to the right. I mean, this guy's awesome. So we've added some more functionality to our Sprite module. We've added some more flexibility to our animation module. And I think that's probably a good place to call it a day and say thanks for watching. And I hope you like these videos. And if you do, you know how to tell me by liking, by leaving a comment. You can subscribe, whatever you want to do. It's just wonderful to have you watching. And until next time, keep coding.